One of the beloved hymn writers in Western Christendom is Charles Wesley, brother of John Wesley and co founder of Methodism. He was a theologian and hymn writer responsible for authoring such things as Hark the Herald Angels Sing and one of my personal favorites, And Can It Be? This hymn is very similar in concept and theme to Amazing Grace, meditating on the wonder and awe that we have that God would send his Son to die in our place so undeservedly and so mercifully. And I love the melody. It's great to hear that melody performed on an instrument. However, that melody is very, very hard to sing. The refrain may be familiar to many. Amazing love, how can it be that you, my God, should die for me? That is written into a contemporary song as well. Amazing love, how can it be that you, my God, should die for me? And for anybody who grew up singing And Can It Be, you'd be familiar with Amazing love, how can it be? But unfortunately, for most churches, this song is unfamiliar. Whether it be a more contemporary style church that it just kind of fallen out of favor because it doesn't have diatonic chords and diatonic melody fitting within a certain range. Or if it's a traditional church that just is less familiar with it or doesn't have trained singers in the congregation, this melody is very, very hard to sing, and most churches neglect this hymn. I think that singing this hymn would benefit the church greatly and encourage believers and help them reflect better on the wonder that is the deep love of God. The original melody of this spans a range of an octave and a fourth. And in the key of G, which it's printed in G in most hymnals, the men are expected to sing up to a high E above the staff, and the women down to a B below their treble clef. That is a large range, and that's about as good as it's going to get. That can be very difficult for untrained singers. So when I was preparing the Easter cantata for First Baptist Baird, I rewrote And Can It Be? I made a new melody to it that I believe is much more accessible. It doesn't jump around nearly as much as the original melody. And although I have love and respect for that original melody, it just does not fit the needs of the unison choir congregational singing in our modern churches. And so I hope that this new melody can be much more accessible to bring these beautiful lyrics back into some of these churches that have had that barrier. So this is the original, and I hope you can appreciate the beauty of it with me. And can it be that I should gain an interest in the Savior's blood? Died he for me who caused his pain, for me who him to death pursued. Amazing love, how can it be that thou, my God, should die for me? Amazing love, how can it be that thou, my God, should die for me. Now, compare that with the more accessible version, which I hope does not take too much musical complexity and interest out of the melody, but instead just introduces some singability to it. And can it be that I should gain an interest in the Savior's blood? Died he for me, who caused his pain, for me who him to death pursued. Amazing love, how can it be that thou, my God, should die for me? Amazing love, how can it be that thou, my God, should die for me? If this hymn tune is something that might benefit your church, then I have a link in my description to either buy this if you want to support my work, or to access it for free on my website, because I don't want money to be a barrier for anybody to worship with this beautiful, beautiful hymn. But if you do feel inclined to support my work, then please go to the Sheet Music Plus link and purchase it. And I hope that this blesses you. Thank you.